we are joined in studio by talkSPORT's boxing pundit and DAZN host, and he is Adi Oladipo. Adi, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Afternoon, gents. Good to be here.
We have so much. It's been a while. It's been way too long. We have a lot to get through, Adi, and we're going to start right now because this Saturday, talkSPORT brings you live boxing. NATASHA JONAS defends her IBF welterweight title against Mikaela in our hometown at Liverpool, and that is where, in a moment, we're about to join Spencer Oliver. But the two fighters are well up for this one.
NATASHA Jonas is just going to be world champion once again, guys. She's got a claim as the greatest fighter my city's ever produced.
Prepared to go to 147 and prepared to take on Tasha Jonas right away.
She puts her punches together. She varies her punches. You'll see jab, right hand, left hook, right to the body.
She's got, you know, good hand speed, good work rate, and yeah, good basics, but I just think everything that she does that I do better.
Stylistically, this one has all the makings of a classic.
Jonas sprints over, mounts the corner post.
I feel like I'm the best and she feels like she's the best, and so we want to go in there and test ourselves.
And this is what happens when you put the best against the best. You get fights like this.
Very much the best against the best. I mentioned Adi Oladipo being in studio with us. Adi, we'll start with you. The best against the best, but who will prove to be the best?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting fight. It's a fight that we maybe didn't predict, especially because of the weight class. Both ladies are coming up from a smaller weight class. Mikaela Maya's best work was at super featherweight. But they are two top 10 female pound-for-pound fighters, and that's what I guess we're getting in female boxing, the pound-for-pound fighters, the elite fighting each other. And these are two girls that I think are desperate for a big win. If you're Tasha Jonas, you had that draw of Terry Harper. She had a good fight with Katie Taylor, but she needs that big name on the resume. I've seen interviews with her this week where she's spoken about wanting to be a legend. You need to start adding sort of names to your resume to do that. She's 39 now, so clearly she doesn't have long left. And if you're Mikaela Maya, I mean, you're just rolling the dice here, really, with this one. You've got nothing to lose, really. You're moving up a couple of weight classes.
Not your belts.
Not your belts. It's a voluntary. Tasha's called you for the fight. So, you know, if you lose, you can go back down to 135, maybe 140. If you win, potentially, you can start screaming for ladies like Claressa Shields. So I think all the pressure on Tasha, and it should mean it's a good fight.
I mean, Simon, you and I spoke to Mikaela Maya on the show earlier this week. Yeah. There is no doubt she's well across the task in hand.
You know, the difference here is that she has been fighting at this higher weight class a lot longer. She's gone up against bigger bodies, but, you know, she hasn't really fought anyone on my level at these higher weights. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how she handles that. I don't know. I haven't been in the ring with her yet. I've prepared for the best version of NATASHA Jonas that I possibly can. Pretty equal fight on paper, I think, and that's why it's so intriguing. You know, we both have such an amateur pedigree, both Olympians, both seasoned now as pros. So I think it'll be exciting, but again, I just feel like I'm the better fighter, and I'm going to get the win. And she feels that same way, which is why it's going to make for a great competitive fight.
We enjoyed talking to Mikaela Maya, didn't we, Simon?
Smart lady. And I think I was just saying to Adi, in between people being able to hear us, she's also, I think, psychologically played the game with NATASHA, because I think going up 2 weight classes and calling for 3-minute rounds is all part and parcel. Going up the 2 weight classes is one thing, she's accepted that, but then calling for a 3-minute round against the heavier hitting person that's acclimatised to that weight class is almost saying, I've got nothing to worry about from you, absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah. And
she probably knew they weren't going to give 3-minute rounds, but it gets into NATASHA's heads about how confident this girl is. Listen, I think NATASHA will win the fight, but I think it's, again, there's an inherent unfairness. NATASHA called this fight, so it's her choice. But she gets to lose quite a lot if she loses this fight, because she gets to lose against a fighter that's come up 2 weight classes, and she gets to lose a belt. Whereas Mikaela, if she loses, and I went up 2 weight classes, what did you expect?
Sure.
And she goes back down to her weight class where she's got her belts.
Yeah. There's a lot on it, of course, we know that. Spencer Oliver is in Liverpool. Spencer, as it gets ever closer, where's your head with it?
Yeah, do you know what, guys? It is a great fight, and you're right in what you say in many ways there, Simon. That is, yeah, for Mikaela Mayer, it's a win-win situation because she is jumping up those weight classes, and if she loses, she goes back down again. But for NATASHA JONAS, at the ripe old age of 39, it's a must-win, really, if she wants to go on and look at boxing the best and people outside of that division, people like Claressa Shields, because that's where these girls are now. But you know what I love about the girls, the women's boxing right now, is the best want to fight the best. They take the politics out of it, they move up and down the weights, and we get these great contests. Stylistically, these two will gel so well. Mikaela Mayer, we know she's going to come forward, she's going to try and push the fight, and this is the first time she's boxed a southpaw as a professional as well. And I think that for NATASHA JONAS, we know that nine of her 14 wins have come by KO. Very heavy-handed, boxes out that southpaw style, that left hand through the middle is effective, and that right hook over the top is very dangerous as well. So look, it's got the makings of an absolutely brilliant contest. And, you know, for NATASHA JONAS as well, it's all about inspiring the next generation, you know, the younger kids. And we had loads of those at the open workout yesterday. But both girls very respectful of each other. They know what they're going into, and they know they're in a tough fight.
You know, it's interesting. Normally when someone moves up a weight class, ultimately you think that the person moving up is the smaller individual. That's kind of what it is. You look at the two, though. Mikaela Mayer, naturally, I think, is a bit bigger than Tasha Jonas. Certainly her frame is anyway. Yeah, Tasha's sort of fought at the weight class and she's used to the weight, but Mikaela's a very, very big, or was a very, very big 130-pounder. So I don't think there's a problem at all, Spence, in Mikaela moving up to 147. In fact, she's spoken about moving up to 154 as well. So I think the size advantage here is null and void. And I think it's going to come down to skills, grit and power.
Addy, I totally agree with you. You've got to remember that both of these girls started as super featherweights, and we know NATASHA JONAS had that controversial draw against Terry Harper, moved up to lightweight, very close, pushed Katie Taylor all the way. So, you know, both of them have started down at the lighter weights, yeah, but Mikaela Mayer does have that height, you know, that height advantage, and she's grown into the weight. She must have really struggled to make 9 stone 4 super featherweight, and I think it's actually more suited up at the welterweight division. So I wouldn't read too much into the weights and jumping through the weight divisions. I think Mikaela, you know, when she lost to Alicia Baumgardner in that controversial defeat, she went up to lightweight in her next contest, then moved up to super lightweight, now up at welterweight. So she's had time to develop. It's not a big jump up. It sounds a lot more than it actually is. And looking at both girls yesterday at that workout, there is no sort of size difference, no size advantage either way. So I think it's suited for both of these girls.
You mentioned that sort of all the top girls fight each other, and you are correct, they do. Obviously, the pool's a lot smaller, so you kind of have to make those fights, so you're not making any money fighting lesser names. Have they spoken about what they want to do next, potentially, the winner? I mean, are they looking... I mean, if you're Tasha, you're looking potentially at a Terry Harper rematch. Obviously, you mentioned the controversial draw. Are you even maybe looking at a Claressa Shields fight? She's speaking, and she has spoken on Twitter to Claressa. What next potentially for the winner?
Look, so what next potentially for the winner is, I think that both girls have got a very close eye on Katie Taylor, what she's going to do next. Will she go in for the trilogy with Chantel Cameron? Can they get the winner of that? Because I think where these girls are both positioned right now in their careers, you know, like NATASHA JONAS, a 2-weight world champion, and Mikaela Mayer's obviously the super featherweight unified world champion, and as she's moved up, she's looking to become a 2-weight world champion as well. But ultimately, the names that come to mind is Katie Taylor, Claressa Shields. They're the names that are floating around. I think that's the winner of this. That's where they're sort of looking at going. They just want the big names. They're at that stage of their career.
Quick word, and finally, sorry, on Tasha Jonas. Obviously, look, Tony Bellew, we heard a piece there talking about her potentially being the biggest sort of superstar from Liverpool, and obviously Liverpool produced so many fantastic fighters. How would you sum up her career and what she's done? You know, especially when you add the amateur record in and her jumping weight classes as well, regardless of defeats, where is she?
Do you know what, Eddie? I think there's one word to sum her career up, and that's inspirational. You know, hard work, you know, grit, determination, and sticking in there. You know, if you go back to when she boxed in the Olympics and she lost in 2012, and she lost that quarter-final to Katie Taylor, and it was a very, very close fight. Then she turns professional, has that controversial draw in Eddie Hearn's back garden back in 2020 against Terry Harper, and you think she was very unlucky. Moves up to lightweight, pushes Katie again all the way, and you just look at it and go, is she going to be that girl, that nearly one, the one that doesn't quite get over the line, doesn't fulfill her full potential? Then jumps up 2 weight classes, super welterweight, and she beats Chris Eubank, knocks her out in style in 2 rounds, and then she doesn't look back. And I think that is inspirational for all the young kids of, you know, Liverpool and the country, if I'm totally honest. But, like, you know, when we was there yesterday, it just dawned on me how much effect she's had with the younger generation here, especially with the younger females, where they just all look up to her and see her as such an inspirational girl.
Yeah.
I think that's what Natasha wanted to do. So, yeah, respect where respect's due. I think that, you know, she cemented her legacy already, but there still might be another paragraph to go.
Spencer, terrific. You're our inspiration, and you always will be. Thank you so much. Our team in the night for this live fight includes presenters Adam Castro and Ali Drew, commentator John Rawling, and the former super bantamweight champion Spencer Oliver, the man you've just heard broadcasting from Liverpool. Natasha Jonas against Mikaela Mayer this Saturday from 8. Listen on your radio, on the talkSPORT app, or watch the show live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.